Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Padilla in the Know. I am so excited to have Taylor here. So Taylor and I used to work together at E, and we have just been friends ever since. She's just the best.
You're the best.
So Taylor was an amazing style editor. That was how we met, but she has done a ton of PR and actually started out in food PR.
Yeah.
And is a tastemaker and an influencer and the most dialed in the scene lady I know. So we're just so excited to have you. Thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And I mean, you've truly done so much and you've accomplished so many things in your career. It's so great. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
But tell us a little bit about what you've done and your history, and then also what you're up to now.
Sure, yeah. So I've been in the industry here in LA for 10 years almost, which is crazy. And I started right out of college, I was a personal assistant to a celebrity. I worked in food PR, which was really fun. And from that, I really enjoyed the editorial side. So then I transitioned to be an editor. And I started at E as, like you said, a style editor. And that was kind of my first foray into the fashion and beauty world. And I was there for 4 years, and now I've broken off and I'm starting to do freelance.
Love it. Yeah. So exciting. So you are truly a tastemaker in every sense of the word. Can you share with our audience a little bit about what is a tastemaker, and then how do you become one?
Sure. Yeah.
Do you go to school?
Yeah. You unfortunately don't go to school just to figure that out. I wish you could do that.
So good.
I think, I've had the opportunity to work for and with a lot of different brands, and I think what I've noticed as I've been in this industry year after year is that tastemakers they come in all shapes and sizes. Yeah. I think a lot of people have a really narrow view of what a tastemaker is and what it takes to be one. But really it's just really an extension of whether it's an individual or a brand of who you are. And so I think being authentic in what your messaging is, whether it's a person I'm getting fit for summer and I'm going to share that journey, or whether it's a smoothie company and you're really passionate about the ingredients in it, just knowing whatever your brand messaging is, getting really clear on that and having a passionate backing to it. That's what I think drives that forward.
Do you think there's a difference in a tastemaker and an influencer?
That's a tough question. I honestly, when I hear the word influencer, I don't think of it necessarily positively, because I think, I forget what the interview was, but there was someone that said, I think it was a big finding that a lot of, if you ask the younger generation, elementary, middle school kids, what they want to be when they grow up, the top answer was YouTuber or influencer.
Oh, wow.
But so the thing is I think what influencer is becoming more of I'm famous and I have a platform and I'm talking. Yeah. I think tastemaker is probably what I want to see it go towards.
Yeah.
Which is really just whatever your skill set is. I want things to be skill oriented. So whatever your skill set is, or your passion is, that's what you should be sharing. Your brand should be an extension of what you are, and not just I have a platform, I'm going to talk.
Right. Yeah, it's actually rooted in what you're passionate about, what you're knowledgeable about, what you're learning about on your own time.
Totally. Yeah, no, exactly. And that's, so tastemaker for the win.
I love it. Tastemaker for the win for sure. So, how important is authenticity in content creation?
I think it's truly really important, because I think if you're sharing content of any kind, you want people to we want there to be a takeaway from what you're sharing. Yeah. And so I think the more rooted you are in what you're doing, the more you have to share. And it's always great when someone actually knows what they're talking about.
Totally. Yeah. And isn't just regurgitating something that they read online or something that they heard at a conference, but actually knows a little bit about it.
And I think that the audiences read that, so I think that's truly key to having a successful business.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. So trends are a part of the space.
Yeah.
You kind of can't get around it.
Really can't.
It's just a thing.
Whether it's in fashion, food, whatever.
Any of it. Yeah. So how do you balance being on trend, identifying what those trends are, and bringing some of that into your brand, but also staying authentic to your brand and what makes you you?
Yeah. I think the thing is there are no rules when it comes to branding or content, and that's what's exciting about the space of any kind. And I think part of it is if there's something that speaks to you that is a trend, try it, throw it into your space, see if it works, and like refine down from there if it doesn't.
Yeah.
So like whether it's you're an influencer or a brand, like let your following come with you on that journey, and like as you figure out what's authentic, because you're not just gonna know,
right?
Like,
no,
you're not just gonna know.
And I think that's actually a really good point, is that you can't be afraid to try things out.
You really
and I
can't.
think the wonderful thing about the digital space at large is it's a wonderful playground.
It's totally,
you know, so it's great to, you know, wear a different color, or maybe try to shoot something in a different vibe or a different light, and test it out and give it 2 or 3 times. Maybe like the first time, maybe it doesn't take, but the second or third it does.
Yeah.
And if by like the third or fourth time it isn't taking, move on.
Yeah.
But don't feel bad about it. You don't have to beat yourself up. Like, it doesn't all need to be perfect.
The brands as a consumer that I'm most excited about are the ones that are like having fun with it and that aren't taking themselves like too seriously.
No, totally.
But staying true to what they're branding.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a way to balance messaging and what your brand is about at large with having a little bit of fun.
Yes.
Showing a nod to something that's going on current, you know, and like being a little bit of a nerd, if that's your thing.
Whatever.
You know, like,
we're all nerds about something, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we're not so vapid and
yeah, for real.
It's like whatever the magazines tell me is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So something that we were talking about off camera is that you're kind of seeing 2 different camps of tastemakers, and I'm using the word tastemakers sort of at large.
Yeah.
So like influencers, experts, tastemakers,
brands,
all
everything.
brands, everything, and dumped into this like royal wave.
Yeah.
So you're seeing kind of 2 camps emerge. So there's the camp that is more of a traditional influencer space where they're representing brands, getting paid for that, and saying what they're being dictated to say. And then there's sort of a more message-focused camp that isn't as concerned with like likes and, you know, repost and that kind of stuff, and is really focused on the education or the messaging.
I mean, I think I think there's like the first camp that you're talking about is kind of the OG camp of like before there was social media, before there were all these like there was all this access to the realness of it. Yeah. And so I think brands before were a lot more polished, like campaigns were a lot more polished, and they were a lot more intentional. Yeah. And I think there is value in having that.
Totally.
But I think so that's like the first generation, and I think this new wave of brands and influencing and all of this are really a little more like guerrilla style, a little more like I keep saying the word authentic, but it's like I think that really is truly where my focus is on this.
Totally, yeah.
But they're a little more willing to be a little messy about what their branding is and trying things out and redirecting as they learn and letting their audience be like a part of that experience.
Yeah, and I think sort of to pull the curtain back on it a little bit, a lot of these more polished, more traditional campaigns that you and I have both worked on are months and months and months in the making. It is an enormous push, and there are a lot of people involved, and there's a lot of refining that goes on. And I think this more guerrilla style is a lot faster. The pivot is a lot faster, and there isn't this layer after layer after layer of refining, and it doesn't mean that the content isn't thoughtful, and it doesn't mean that the information isn't well researched. It just means that they haven't made it Instagram perfect the way that content was looking up until maybe even a year ago. And now we're seeing more of a trend and more of an emergence of people who are maybe only taking 100 pictures instead of 1,000 to get to the one that they want to build the content off of. Or maybe it's even 10 instead of 100, you know, and just like not being afraid to put it out there with some unperfect edges and not the perfect makeup and not the perfect hair.
Yeah, and it's I think the more I'm around people that are doing this and in this space, everyone's starting to feel this way about it, and I think you can see through something if it's not.
Yeah, totally.
If it's too thought out.
Right.
It doesn't need to be that thought out.
Yeah, for sure. And I think part of the engagement factor as a consumer is that you want to look at things through the filter of your own eyes, and that you're looking to people to present something to you that has a little bit of rawness, so that you can make a decision for yourself. You aren't necessarily married to their take or opinion of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think like on that same note, I think like having an opinion, like not every single person is going to resonate with your brand or your messaging, and like being so sure of what your what your brand stance and messaging is really the key, I think. So, because it's like you have to be okay that not everyone's going to get it. Not everyone's supposed to get it.
Right, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And I think that's a natural evolution of the space.
Yeah.
Because I think for many years, especially when you and I started creating content in this space, it was about trying to be all things to all people and look perfect and make everyone happy and never step on anyone's toes and never have an opinion.
Yeah.
And I think the evolution of it, the natural evolution, is to move to a place where it is okay to have an opinion.
Yeah.
It is okay if not every single person is thrilled with what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's okay, because there's something that's perfect for them out there.
Exactly.
You know? Like,
Amen.
Room for everyone in the sandbox.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you were the brand and you were looking to partner with a tastemaker or an influencer, what would be really important to you? Like, what would be the markers that you would be looking for? And make that decision so that you could pick the right person.
Yeah, kind of going off what we were saying before, I think picking partners, whatever the partnership is you're trying to form, picking partners that their brand messaging aligns with your brand messaging. Doesn't mean they have to be the same. It can be an extension, like if you're a health brand, and I'm a gym, then the influencer maybe isn't someone that lifts weights and is doing all their weightlifting. Maybe it's someone that has a spun smoothie recipe every day, and then you guys can collaborate on, what smoothie you should make for this workout or whatever.
Yeah.
So it always needs to be their message. They have the same core moral values and messaging that you do.
Yeah.
But be creative about finding people outside of your direct space.
Well, and I think that's actually a really great tip, and it's really insightful, because you can have similar anchors in your content and in your brand and in your brand messaging, but the ability to partner with someone who isn't a copycat of what you do and what you're about allows new people to find you.
Yeah, and it shouldn't. And if you're paying someone to work with them, or you're in hopes you should both be getting something out of it, and so it should be a learning experience for both people involved and the audience. It shouldn't be a regurgitation of what they're already getting from you.
Totally, yeah. And I mean, I think that's part of what makes it interesting, because there's just so much content. There's an unbelievable amount of content. So the part that draws you in is, what's your takeaway?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's so important that gets overlooked a lot, particularly with digital content, is having a takeaway. There has to be more than some girl in a bikini holding a drink. Yeah.
The days of really pretty, glossy presentations are we still love that, but those are kind of over, and I think it's again, what Amy's saying, it's more about let's learn something, let's teach, let's give back by sharing what we know and our expertise.
Well, and that was something that you were saying off camera too, that the people that you love to follow are the ones that you feel like you're getting to learn something from.
Yeah, there's the people I'm excited to follow, they're people that things there's a facialist I follow that does amethyst healing facials, and it sounds so weird, but it's I'm learning so much, because she posts about what she uses and things like that, and I never knew I was interested in that until I started following her. So
you never know.
Yeah, you really never know.
So in a dream world, let's actually change gears a little bit. Let's talk about co-create. I can't talk today. Sorry, I've been tongue-tied all day. All right, so co-collaborating content with a brand.
Yeah.
So we've both had experiences where it's been really successful and we're really happy with the outcome.
Yeah.
And we've both had experiences where it maybe wasn't as great as it could be. So I think in the interest of the audience and letting, a lot of it is trial and error. And one of the advantages that you and I have is that we've had a lot of trial and error. We've had a lot of time to do this.
Yeah.
So in a dream world, if you were co-creating content with a brand, how would that sort of play out? And what are the pillars that are really important?
I think so. I've worked with a lot of brands on a lot of different projects, and they've all gone a lot of different kinds of ways. So I think what surprisingly is less is more. And so whoever's coming to the table with the idea, they should have a clear idea of what they want this collaboration to look like, why they wanted to work with you, and it should be a general jumping off point, and it should really just be a conversation between the two entities. I think when you start to sometimes you think by like writing everything out, by putting together a plan, a proposal, by putting like two days into something, it's going to help. But until you really talk with the person that you're working with, and you want it to feel comfortable for both people. Again, both people need to get something out of it.
Totally, yeah. And I love what you said about less is more.
Mm-hmm.
So I think sometimes coming in with a skeleton of an idea, like, this is the product that we're promoting, this is what this product's all about, these are the points that we absolutely need to drive home because this is what's new and awesome and cool and interesting about this product, and this is the time frame. And I think kind of giving the content some space to breathe and some space for it to come to life and for it to be interesting and of the moment and feel authentic. You have to give it a little leeway, and you have to trust in it. Yeah. And you have to trust in the people that you bring into the team to do their job.
Yeah, and I think that, it's like, what do they say? Like, hire good people and then get out of their way. I know, right? That's definitely my catchphrase. But yeah, no, it's like, if you're not, you should already be choosing someone that you want to have a conversation with. Like, you should be choosing someone that you like, that you actually want to collaborate with. So it shouldn't be all on, like, you're already famous, let me just put it all on you and you decide what we do. Yeah. Because then you're not going to get what you want. I think if that's what you're thinking, your brand needs a little more clarity on what they're asking for and what message they want to send to their audience. Like, it's back to the audience always. Like, what are we giving them?
Right. Yeah. And like, why are they tuning in? Why are they watching? What are their takeaways, and like, why is this worth their time? No, I think that's really smart. That's such a interesting, such a good way to go about it.
It's like a simpler thought process than we think it is. But but the conversation is going to be the hard part, and the collaborating is what really, that's what where you're really going to get into it.
I always look at it from a place of the most challenging part of it should be the logistics.
Yep.
Like organizing everyone's schedule and getting everyone to the right place at the right time and all. Like, that is the hard part. The
collaborating's the fun part.
Right, exactly. And then the actual content creation in front of the camera is the fun part. Yeah. It's just the like pen to paper logistical parts that should be the challenging part, not the like trying to force and shape the content into this like, box. So you have worked with so many brands in so many different ways. What is some of the insight from working with brands that you can share with our audience? Maybe things that you've learned that help make content creation with a brand easier or more effective or more fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I've worked with it always depends on the client or the brand or whatever, because some of them have been such a joy to work with in terms of they'll sit down, they'll have that conversation, and they'll let you run with whatever idea it is. Yeah. And then others have a really strong opinion on what it should be, but the challenge with that is, at the time I was on the media side, is that if they have a really strong opinion of what our messinging is, it might be off brand for us. So we have to like hold the integrity of our brand. Yeah. So it's like both people need to feel like that integrity is intact.
Right.
So I think it's reading the room and knowing who you're working with. Like, don't sign up to work with someone that you really think you're going to have to compromise too much. Maybe that's not the right fit for you. Yeah. I think if you do get stuck in a situation where you have to work with someone that you don't want to work with, make your asking points really clear up front. I would, I think when you come together for that initial conversation, your asks, your demands, your brand points should be really clear up front. Like, transparency is key.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I think, doing your homework is important, and not just like rolling in there and being like, we're just going to make it look cool. It's just going to feel good. Yeah. It's just going to be vibey. Like,
no brand.
Do your homework.
Right. And I think my thought to that is like, any brands that really cares about the messaging of their brand isn't going to say that. So it's like, if that's what you're saying, maybe go back to the drawing board and think about what you're trying to say.
Right. And choose who you're working with thoughtfully.
Yeah, absolutely.
And think about how that's going to help you over time.
Yeah, you have a responsibility to your audience to deliver information, like new information that they can use, and so it's a responsibility. So don't take it lightly.
Exactly. Well, is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you wanted to cover?
I don't think so. I think be authentic and know what your branding is, and build
your content from there.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, where can everyone follow along?
Oh, you can. I'm on Instagram at TayTayJean, so I will see you all there.
Love it. You guys follow Taylor.
Yeah.
She is the best.
Thank you.
All right, this was so fun. Thank you so much.
Thanks
and
for having
I
me.
feel like we learned a lot. I'm into it.
Yeah, good. I'm glad.
Good.
Sharing information.
Love it. All right, well, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Thanks. Bye.